We are live out on the roads as we come on the air here at 6 a.m. Rain overnight continuing through your morning commutes, and we're also keeping an eye on the chances of freezing rain. That's why our weather team has declared a KARE 11 weather impact alert. Good morning, everyone, and thank you for joining us on air and streaming on KARE 11 Plus. I'm Jason Hackett. Right now, school delays and closings are coming into the newsroom. You can see those scrolling at the bottom of your screen and on KARE11.com/closings. We do have team coverage to get to as we prepare you for the day. You're getting ready to hit the door. You probably have a lot of questions. Let's get to meteorologist John Ziegler breaking down the timing for us. Hey, John.
Hey, well, in our household, we were worried about school being canceled. And first thing I got is, hey, was it a bust? I'm like, whoa. But no, I think if that's the question I'm getting from Nicole, I assume that's the same question you're asking. Here's what happened. We had the freezing rain overnight. There is icing even on the trees, probably where you live. The worst of this is Hinckley, and you're going to see Cece's got a camera up there that'll show the story. But it depends on where you live. We are getting a really nicely timed lull. Now, it's not a bust because we still have the lull. And we talked about it yesterday. There's tulips growing in the ground. So sure, it's freezing rain. It might collect on the trees, but for that to collect on the roadways takes a lot of it. And so far, we haven't had quite enough freezing rain to make it terrible. It is icy north. But what you're going to see here is a resurgence. Look at all this moisture in Iowa. It's going to cross over into the rain ice line, and we'll see that move in. In fact, you're starting to see a little of that freezing drizzle show up. So the earlier you leave, the better in the metro. I'm not saying it's perfect. I did see a few icy spots, but I would say right now, 80% of the roads in the metro look like they're doing okay. Now, Cece, you've been updating everybody on every minute to minute on what's going on. What are you seeing?
Yeah, good morning. John and I were back there looking at cameras, and we saw this up in Hinckley on I-35. It's snow. I did not think I'd see that this morning out on the roads, but here it is. Once you pass that Forest Lake splits and keep driving on I-35, you will hit snow. Look at that. Please add some extra time in that area. Now we're going to stay outside of the Twin Cities metro here so that I can show you even in areas like Monticello, Zimmerman, Clearwater, even Big Lake. We're going to see some slushy areas, maybe even some snow as you head towards St. Cloud. So those are other areas where you're going to want to add some extra time. Now, once you get into the Twin Cities metro, you will see wet roads wherever you're waking up. That's not the question. The question is how wet the roads actually are. Either way, don't underestimate the wet roads. Definitely make sure you're just driving slower and adding time even in the Twin Cities metro. But I have seen it pretty calm in the Twin Cities metro on the major roads, which is good. I am seeing one crash up in Rogers. I'll show you that just after 6:15. Things are still clearing up in that area on 94, but still some crashes out there. So I'll update you about that. Megan, I know you've been driving around all morning long. There was a lull where you didn't need the windshield wipers. What's the situation now?
Yeah, just in the last 5 minutes since I said that, the rain has picked up just a little bit here. We're heading south on 35E. We're near the New Brighton area. I'll show you what we're seeing here. Windshield wipers are back on, and the rain has picked up just a little bit, but it's really not that heavy. We've kind of seen scattered rain as we've driven sort of around the metro this morning. We went up north. We were up on 35 north heading towards the Forest Lake area. It was pretty dry up there. Then we came back down this way. We're kind of heading towards the St. Paul area here, and it is definitely a little bit quieter as far as the rain goes. So I will say that there are still kind of some isolated slick spots that we've seen throughout the morning. So I don't think it's a bad idea to leave yourself a little bit of extra time. Just slow down a bit on the roads and definitely make sure that you've got enough space between you and the vehicles in front of you, because there have been some very minor but unexpected slick spots that we have hit throughout the morning. So I don't think that is a bad idea. But so far here on the roads this morning, aside from those minor spots, it's really not too bad. I just think leaving yourself a little bit of extra time would be a good idea. Back to you.
Always good advice there. Megan, thank you very much. You drive safe. Now, throughout the weather impact alert, make sure you have KARE 11 Plus. All you have to do is scan that QR code that you see on your screen right now to download our free app for your TV. You're going to be able to watch live radar and get localized forecasts anytime. Now, we do have to get to breaking news this morning from Minneapolis overnight. In the last 2 hours, police have confirmed there was a shooting near the Lowry Towers apartments in North Minneapolis. This is video from the scene just before 2 a.m. You can see police have the road blocked off there. We are still waiting for details on if anyone was hurt or if any arrests have been made. Now, our photographer also got video of a rollover crash near the shooting scene. This is about 2 minutes northeast. Police tell us there is no evidence linking the two scenes, but, quote, that could change on the fly. We will update you as soon as we know more. We are live in Washington, D.C. here at 6:05, where a vote could come as soon as today to reopen the Department of Homeland Security. Danny Spiewak is in the newsroom breaking down the two-step plan from Republican lawmakers. Good morning, Danny.
Hey, Jason, we're tracking the U.S. Senate right now. They actually just came back into session in Washington, and they may take some action here this morning. Despite controlling Congress and the presidency, though, Republicans had been divided until today over how to reopen the Department of Homeland Security, and now they're all on board with the same plan, meaning the 6-week partial shutdown could be nearing an end, with Senate and House action potential for today. In a reversal, President Trump and House Republicans now say they're going to join Senate Republicans to reopen DHS. With support from Democrats, they plan to take one vote to fund all of DHS except for ICE and Border Patrol. That's what the Senate's talking about right now. Then separately, they're going to vote to continue funding for immigration enforcement agencies using a process known as budget reconciliation that can bypass Democratic filibuster power in the Senate. Just last week, House Speaker Mike Johnson called this plan a joke, but he's now on board after the president changed his stance. It's welcome news for air travelers and TSA workers who've been caught in the middle of the longest partial shutdown in history.
It's both parties. There is no single person to be blamed. I think it's every single one of our elected officials. It is their fault.
Under this plan, Democrats are not going to get the reforms that they've been seeking to ICE and Border Patrol, but their leaders have praised the caucus for what they've said is holding the line against Republicans. The House and Senate are on recess, but they have these informal sessions that are happening. The Senate that just ended here minutes ago, actually just seconds ago as I'm looking at my phone, and then the House later this morning. That's where they can move this DHS funding forward. That would reopen most of the agency, including TSA. Jason.
All right, Danny Spiewak keeping an eye on all the latest developments this morning. We appreciate you. Thank you very much. Developing now in the war in Iran, President Trump says U.S. forces will finish the job soon. In his primetime address, the president didn't give too many new details about the war. He did say he expects to be at war with Iran for at least the next 2 weeks, and there would be bombings in that time frame.
We're going to hit them extremely hard over the next 2 to 3 weeks. We're going to bring them back to the Stone Ages where they belong. In the meantime, discussions.
Now, the president also blamed Iran for rising oil prices, saying the costs are short term, and he expects the economy to come, quote, roaring back like never before.